criminality, teenage pregnancies, and general violence in some of our communities, and the burden that is placed on young people to look after their aged parents and grandparents. As the government, we have continued to pursue pro-poor policies to systematically tackle the multifaceted sectors, or rather factors, impeding progress in basic education. These policies encompass the establishment of no-fee-paying schools. Indeed, 80% of schools in our country do not require the payment of fees any longer. This is a huge, huge, huge success and progress, because the payment of fees for educating our children has brought, for the most part, an inordinate burden on parents. Now freed from having to pay school fees, parents are able to provide a better livelihood to their families. Moreover, more than 9.6 million children benefit from the National School Nutrition Program. They get free textbooks, scholar transport, wherever and whenever we can, and child support grants provided by the Department of Social Development, another one of our government departments. We commend the many initiatives to provide learning support where the need is greatest. These concerted efforts signify our commitment as a government to enhancing the education landscape of our country, ensuring that every child has the opportunity to succeed, irrespective of their background. By addressing these challenges head-on, we affirm our dedication to fulfilling Mandela's vision of education as the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world, he said. We aim to prepare every child in our country for success in a rapidly evolving global context. Our commitment is demonstrated through the three-stream curriculum model, which incorporates technical, vocational, and occupational subjects into basic education. This aligns with the nation's skills requirement and education objectives, moving beyond traditional academic subjects to expand a learner's prospects for the future, but also to respond to the changing world economic landscape, changing the world of work, which requires multi-skilling, which requires new skills, which requires upskilling, and which also requires broadening of skills. Next year, we are poised to expand the educational stream into the further education and training phase. This expansion is a testament to our resolve to ensure no learner is left behind. Early childhood development is a key priority for the government, crucial to shaping our nation's future. Currently, we have developed the 2030 strategy for early childhood development programs. This strategy outlines a comprehensive plan to achieve universal access to quality ECD programs by 2030. To ensure that we reach universal access to ECD programs for children aged 3 to 5, we will need to provide a quality access process so that we can have an additional 830,000 children brought into the net. This is over and above the 2.2 million children in this age group who are already accessing ECD programs. We can agree that the essence of quality education systems lies in the professionalization and quality of the teachers, who are fundamental at the school level. They are crucial to developing the skills, the knowledge, and competencies of our country's needs for faster economic growth. Last week, South Africa hosted the 14th International Teacher Task Force Policy Dialogue Forum. It emphasized the need for qualified teachers to achieve sustainable development goals and support the Africa Agenda 2063. The forum concluded that global investment in teachers is essential to ensure their competence, professionalism, and support. We will do everything possible to continue supporting our teachers, who are the backbone of our education system and who are the combatants for the silent revolution that is currently happening in basic education. I am profoundly aware of the pivotal role that mother tongue instruction plays in the fabric of our democracy. It is a cornerstone of the essential reforms we undertake in basic education and speaks to the broader imperative of decolonizing education. This goes beyond merely ensuring that our children can read with comprehension. It is a vital component of our commitment to educational transformation. I want to express my deep support for this development, acknowledging its significance in our journey towards basic education reforms that are now underway. Our nation's history reminds us of the profound impact of language as a tool that was used for subjugation and oppression. In recognizing this, our commitment to decolonization and transformation becomes even more urgent, ensuring that language is a bridge to knowledge, and it is also an empowerment tool rather than a barrier. They all national AU Agenda 2063 frameworks and international organizations such as UNESCO endorse the implementation of mother tongue instruction as a pivotal strategy for addressing literacy challenges. The widespread support recognizes the fundamental role of education in one's first language in enhancing learning outcomes and improving literacy rates. In conclusion, let us double our efforts to ensure our children stand on equal footing. This means all shall have access to public schools, the assurance of being taught by a qualified teacher, and the provision of ample workbooks, textbooks, and stationery. It also means having the necessary learning tools, dignified facilities, such as sanitation, clean running water, basic electricity, and a clean, welcoming environment that guarantees safety for both learners and teachers. You'll be amazed how engendering and creating an environment, a physical environment, just changes, positively so, the mood amongst teachers, learners, and anyone who participates. in a learning facility. And it is this that sometimes we don't lay emphasis on. I have seen how when physical environment changes, how it just adds a spring to the heels of teachers, how it just opens up the minds of learners. These are small, at times little things that need attention, that once attended to, just opens up a brave and a bold new world. As we attend to the delivery of education and improving our curriculum, we unleash an energy source that is unstoppable. And it is these learners who we must free up so that they can fly. And you are the cohort, the group of people who are best equipped to do so. So in your Lekgotla today, I encourage you to be bold, to be forward-looking, to be creative, so that we can unshackle all the chains that continue to keep our nation back. So get on with it, and I wish you Lekgotla very well. And it's always a joy to be present in your Lekgotla. I'm just so sorry that I'm in Cape Town today. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
President Ramaphosa there, essentially setting off in motion the series of events that are likely to unfold as the 2024 Basic Education Lekgotla gets underway. He spent a considerable amount of time speaking about the strides they've made, and of course he was going to speak about the school nutrition program that feeds about 20,000 children in the country. In many instances, activists telling us that this is the
doctorates, which he received both locally and internationally. In 1987, he received the Olof Palme Prize in Stockholm. About his political activity, I see his program, his office writes 1974, but I know the president was the president of the SRC at a school I attended. Even at that stage, he was a leader as a young person. He was a leader at the high school. When he went to university, he also led in the 1974 Frelimo rallies where he was detained. He was then subsequently expelled from university, and he was imprisoned for a long time during the time between that period. One of the most outstanding matter for me about our president, he was the first General Secretary of the National Union of Mine Workers. He was the first General Secretary of the National Union of Mine Workers in 1982. And then when ANC was unbanned, he was elected also the first Secretary General of the ANC after the unbanning in the country, and subsequently became the head of the ANC team that negotiated the transition to democracy.
Smile, President.
And following the 1994 elections, the chairperson of the Constitutional Assembly, which wrote the South African New Democratic Constitution. He moved to private sector, founded Shanduka, and diversified investment holding companies. Then he resigned from Shanduka in 2012, following his appointment as the Deputy President of the country. In December 2012, he was elected Deputy President of the governing party and the ANC. In 2017, he was elected as ANC's 45th elective conference, And in February 2018, he was sworn as the 5th democratically elected president of the Republic. On the 8th of May 2019, the African National Congress, led by the president, won the 2019 votes for South African elections. Subsequently, he was elected unopposed to his full term as president of the National Assembly on the 22nd of May 2019. And in 2022, he was also re-elected in the governing party as the president of the governing party. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our president. And I must say, we graciously and humbly are humbled by his presence in the Zoom, because he has another meeting at 10. That's why we're saying to people, let's give him a chance to speak, address us. From there, what we will do, we'll go back to our program. So, Dingan, I'm not sure if the president's office can, okay. Can we then allow the president then? Thank you very much, dear.
Thank you, Program Director. The Minister of Basic Education, Ms. Angie Motshekga. Deputy Minister of Basic Education, Ms. Mhaule. Ministers and Deputy Ministers, as well as members of the Executive Councils in our various provinces, and representatives of teacher unions in our country, and representatives of various education sector institutions or organizations. And ladies and gentlemen, and good morning. I'm really sorry that I cannot be where you are, as I am currently in Cape Town and will soon be addressing another meeting. But it is a distinct honor and a privilege to address this 6th basic education sector, Lekgotla. It is immensely gratifying for me to see the diverse support from the private sector, from the non-governmental organizations, academics, researchers, and civil society, as well as organized labor and parent associations gathered here, thus demonstrating a very keen interest in our education system. We've always maintained that education is a collective responsibility, and we are profoundly thankful to all our stakeholders for their continuous support, their guidance, and advice. We've always, certainly in our country, held the view that education is a societal undertaking. It cannot be an undertaking that is executed by one organ alone, and just by dint of what education means, it just starts off with parents, starts off with the community in which a young person grows up and moves on to school, where the more formalized educators take charge of the education of children, also gets underway with the peers of the young person and extends beyond that as they start either to go into higher education or to work. And society, in the end, becomes the main educator of the child, and various organizations get involved. So in the end, education must be seen as a societal undertaking. And you, represented here today, have taken on this task of being the full educators of our young people. And in doing so, you bear a very important burden in the building of our nation and in the makeup of our society and communities. So we thank you for this. You're coming here together. It's not just an easy effort. It's a very informed effort. And we're very pleased that you are here. With regard to our own education system, This is the one area where colonialism and apartheid made sure that their effects are felt quite intently, heavily, and on a long-term basis. And it is in this area that we today continue to live in the shadow of what they set up in our country 342 years ago, and under apartheid some 46 years ago as well. But the seeds of apartheid germinated long before the apartheid rulers took over. But despite that, we have seen progress in improving literacy, numeracy rates among school-age children. This has happened alongside initiatives to enhance teacher training and curriculum development, ensuring that our youth are better equipped for future challenges that lie ahead. We have expanded access to education by constructing new schools, increasing the number of no-fee schools, and significantly improving funding for students in higher education from poor and working-class families. Many of you will recall that as the fight against apartheid intensified, an iconic and lodestar document was drafted, which is the Freedom Charter. Amongst its many precepts, it set out that the doors of learning shall be open. It was aspirational. It was a deep-seated wish by our forebears who crafted that most important document that is now enshrined in our Constitution, that the doors of learning should be opened. And the progress that we have made today subscribes to that the doors of learning should be open. So therefore, expanding access to education through new schools, increasing no-fee schools, is precisely addressing that aspiration, an age-old aspiration. As we move forward, we must focus on building a resilient, inclusive, and prosperous nation. That is our objective, also as set out in our lodestar document. The journey of renewal and reform is essentially ongoing. Today, we convene not merely to mark another year of deliberations and strategic planning, but also to celebrate a landmark year in our nation's journey, in our nation's history. 30 years of democracy, 30 years of freedom, of peace and prosperity. Speaking at his inauguration, the founding father of our nation, Nelson Mandela, said, "We have triumphed in the effort to instill hope in the breasts of millions of our people." We celebrate the noteworthy milestones in the basic education landscape, marking the transformation from the segregated apartheid system that was set up prior to 1994. An apartheid education system that was intentionally set up to blunt the capabilities of the majority of South Africans. Now, the transformation is to ensure that we have a more inclusive and diverse education landscape, a landscape that we have fostered since 1994. In our endeavor to redress the past injustices, our nation has embarked on developing a new national curriculum that caters for all, moving away from the fragmented curricula previously offered by 18 departments of education that delineated our education system along racial and regional lines. For a small country that we are, for small population, we had, can you believe it, 18 education departments. And the thin line that ran right across each one of them was racism and regionalism. Over the last 3 decades, our basic education sector has seen substantial improvements. We have achieved universal access at the basic level, matching the performance of developed nations. Teacher qualifications have seen significant improvements. From the ruins of apartheid education, this we have achieved. In the past 30 years, we have built new state-of-the-art schools, and these replace schools constructed from inappropriate materials and further accommodate rapid urbanization. Our efforts to ensure every child has access to quality education, thus leaving no one behind, are bearing fruit. For instance, the national senior certificate pass rate has steadily risen from 60% in 2009 to more than 80% in recent years. The class of 2023 has upheld this positive trajectory, achieving an impressive almost 83% pass rate, to be exact, 82.9. For those of us who were educated years ago, we were always told that you round up. Anything above 0.5%, you round up to the higher level. So I'm educated in that mode. So that's why I say 83%. This is the result of years of hard work by our officials, by our teachers, by our partners, by our parents, and by our caregivers. Also hard work by our learners themselves. This year, our chosen theme, equipping learners with knowledge and skills for a changing world, has never been more appropriate and more relevant. Recognizing the rapid pace of global changes and the evolving demands of the workforce, the Department of Basic Education has embarked on a comprehensive review and enhancement of our curriculum. The initiative is crucial to
Adequate notice was given to parties for this purpose, and this was done to facilitate participation of members who are connecting to the sitting through the virtual platform. The members who will pose supplementary questions will be recognized by the presiding officer. In allocating opportunities for supplementary questions, the principle of fairness, amongst others, has been applied. If a member who is supposed to ask a supplementary question through the is unable to do so due to technical, the party will be recognized by question on behalf of their member, and when all supplementary questions has been answered by the executive, we'll proceed to the next question on the order paper. The first question has been asked by the Honourable F.D. Kasa to the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much. The Department of Cooperative Governance in 2018 released a framework for LED, which is local economic development. The main intention of this was to guide all municipalities on how to approach LED in their areas of jurisdiction. And pursuant to the framework, the department partnered with various stakeholders. The first one was Anglo-American of South Africa, the branch, and Sibanye Stillwater, to, amongst others, strengthen the capability of municipalities and further assist in the infrastructure. development of local municipalities. As we are speaking, Anglo-American is doing wastewater in the municipality of Bujanala, and the Still Sibanye has finalized and concluded with LGCTA the training manuals for all local municipalities on LED. Which is Teguini and has been conducting master classes capabilities. Interventions which, amongst others, for this economic development and the role in local government, obviously, is to strengthen the government, also to review all the LED outdated strategies and laws. And as a result, we have circulated to the Minister, Mr. Landabeni, the standard draft bylaws which looks into township economies and how you will handle the small business, including the management of small businesses like spaza shop, small commercial and industrial economies in townships, in line with the spatial resilience and development, good administration, and proper allocation of land use for governance of economic. The department has also planned to continue to implement these above interventions in the financial year of 2024-2025. Thank you.